Welcome back to our YouTube channel, guys. My name's Audi, and today's video is starting off a brand new series on the absolutely stunning Audi R8 V10 that we've got behind us for a lovely stock look system upgrade. So we're going to be running through in today's video the products that are actually going in and talking a little bit about the actual spec of the system. So the car has been delivered to us by a transporter and we are all set, ready to go. I'm running through the product, showcasing a little bit more, and then we'll do a full sound off video comparing what you get from stock to what we're actually putting in as well. So there's plenty more episodes to come on this car, so make sure you stay tuned. And also remember, guys, we've got our massive 10K subscriber competition live on our channel. Link for that is in the description below, so check that out right after you've watched today's video. But let's get cracking on today's video. So we're going to be talking about some of the products that are going in. The car came into us with the stock system. So you've got two systems on this year of R8. You've got the Bang Olufsen upgrade, plus you've got the stock system, which doesn't have an amplifier, and it's a very similar system to a Hurricane Evo, for instance. The system that we've done on there, we've done a full sound off video that you can actually see what you get on a Hurricane Evo over and what beyond we're putting in to this new system. However, the system comprises of a tweeter, a mid-range, a 6.5-inch driver and door, rear speakers, an amplifier. That's all on the actual Bang Olufsen system. However, on this system, it's no amplifier, and all you've got is basically a two-way front end. You haven't got rear speakers. We'll be stripping the car down completely, showcasing you all of that. But what we're upgrading, what the customer was after, is a stock look system. So that's exactly what we're achieving, but a massive, massive enhancement on the actual clarity of the system. And what we're going to be doing is a full tuning video at the end, talking about phase cancellation, talking about the whole DSP setup of how we actually set up a system. I've got some products lined up in front of me here, and we're going to be talking you through a little bit about each single product, what they do in a vehicle. We're going to start off with the actual speaker configuration itself. So we've got three speakers here. We've got a tweeter, we've got a mid-range, and then we've got the mid-bass. Inside this car, we're not doing a designated sub at the moment, but the way we spec the system, we're actually allowing ourselves to actually upgrade the system later on and add a sub if the customer wants to, after he's listened to this as it is. So in a stock location, we're putting the Hertz Mille Legend tweeter. That's removing the factory tweeter, then adding in this tweeter here. Then the mid-range, we'll be putting that into the door, and then the 6.5-inch driver will be replacing the current driver that's in the door as well. Then we're going to be talking about soundproofing and doing a hell of a lot of acoustic treatment inside that door as well. This is all down to an audio consultation. On this occasion, we went through all of this over video and also over call to go through and spec the system via pictures and things like that. However, if you do want a lot more detail, you can come by, book an audio consultation, or we can do it remotely. So we deal with customers all over the country, like this customer, as well as all over the world. So if you are interested in getting your car done, you know exactly what to do, guys. Get in touch and we can get it all sorted. So that's the higher frequencies being dealt with the Hertz Mille Legend tweeter, and that is a massive, massive difference over the stock system, but you'll see that in the sound off video. Then what we're going to be adding into the vehicle is the Hertz Mille Legend 3-inch driver. So a really, really nice, effective way of mid-range frequencies being played. And what the mid-range does, so you don't necessarily need a mid-range, and with the processing power that we've got, you could have a system with what's called a two-way front end, a tweeter and a 6.5-inch driver. However, adding in a mid-range, what that actually achieves on a system like this is it allows the separation of sound to come far more naturally, and also allowing each component to do a lot more of what it was specifically designed to. So it sits in the middle there. It's not a necessary part of an install. However, on this occasion, it's going to be sounding really, really good. And what that customer was after is a really clear, beautiful sounding front end. And that's exactly what a three-way system like this can achieve. If you don't have a space in a car for a mid-range, we can build in custom A-pillars, we can build some fabrication to add something like this in. So there's loads of different options, and every car, every spec of system is different. These videos are just give you an idea on the system that we're doing. So tweeters dealing with higher frequencies, mid-range dealing with the 3-inch driver from Hertz Mille Legend. Then the 6.5-inch Hertz Mille Legend driver is then going to be running the actual kind of the most of the mid bass in the car. Because we're not adding a designated sub, we'll be playing these speakers a little bit lower than what we normally would. In terms of why we've chosen the Hertz Mille Legend range is because of what's called excursion of a cone. So there's different ranges within all sorts of different brands, but the Hertz brand, especially the Hertz Mille Legend, perform really, really nicely, and these 6.5-inch drivers provide a lot of mid-bass, and that's exactly why we're doing it on this car. Because we didn't want to have any cosmetic change, these fit into a stock location, but also what they actually do is the excursion from that cone, so how much that cone is moving up and down will give you a lot more mid-bass than alongside other speakers, but also comes into a really nice price point. So overall, a really, really nice array of actual components that are going to be replacing the factory dated equipment that's the quality just isn't there, and you'll see in that sound off video the actual difference in quality of the actual products. But overall, that's the speaker configuration that's going to be going into a stock location. So by the end of the video, in the final video, you're actually not going to be able to cosmetically see any differences whatsoever from the system. Then we're going to be now talking about soundproofing, which is a key part of any system. So the soundproofing that goes in, this is one 3mm sheet. So it's a product from Skins, and this gets applied to all areas as much as possible, depending on specced system. So inside this door, you've got basically a large cavity that's not filled. It's just a massive void that's sheet metal, basically. So as you can hear there, it's really, really tinny. There's no deadening inside there at all. And what this sheet does, gets applied to the back of this panel here, the central panel that actually houses the actual speaker itself, and then the back of the door card. What this stuff does is very important. It actually builds a far better acoustic environment for the new sound system to work in. These speakers are going to perform so much better, but it also actually reduces a load of rattles and resonations from factory door cards that maybe currently that you might not be able to hear, but they are there in the background. When we use our analysis tools like the RTA machine and things like that, we actually can gauge everything that's going on inside a door, where frequencies are being lost through the back of the door card, because the speaker not only plays one way, so a speaker does not play just forwards. It also, if you look at the design of it, it also plays back. And what happens is when that speaker's in the door facing into the cabin, you're actually getting loss of sound out of the vehicle. That's why soundproofing can sit behind that, like so. When that soundproofing is sitting behind the actual speaker, it actually reflects sound, and that's why the silver material is here. It also reflects sound waves and actually brings that back into the vehicle, which is a very important part, so you minimize loss of sound. What it also does is actually reduce road noise on the vehicle, which is very, very cool as well, as quite a nice feature. But there's loads of different features soundproofing does, but this can be applied to lots of areas in this car. It does add weight to the vehicle. However, we'll be putting in the actual description below the exact amount of weight soundproofing adds in the description below, because we know we get asked that quite a lot. But the difference in sound that you get is impressive. However, I mean, even adding in components like this, even if we added 4 or 5 boxes of skin soundproofing to the actual system, the weight is marginal in terms of the difference that you're getting in sound. So even on my car, for instance, we've got around about a £30,000 system in that car currently. There's about 140 sheets of soundproofing in there. It's no different to carrying a passenger, for instance, and that's an incredible, incredible system where we're not dealing with looking at weight elements, we're looking at the actual physical performance of sound output inside a vehicle. So this car, obviously, we're going to be using these sheets here as a 3mm layer, but you'll be seeing all of that. And we'll probably do a soundproofing video, because soundproofing is such a vital part of the system. Then we're going to touch upon the actual cabling. So cabling that we use is something called connections grade cabling. There's lots of different power cables that are going to be used inside the actual system, all from Connections. But this is an example of an oxygen-free cable. One of the key things which a lot of people miss out on and don't talk about is cabling. It's very important. There's no point having a lovely set of speakers like this, a lovely amplifier that we'll talk about shortly, without decent cable running the actual signals to and from products, and also how it actually delivers sound. So that's a very important part, that we're using high grade quality cable, and you'll find that across all of our installs. We don't touch on it massively much, but it is a key part, and then we're going to start talking a little bit more about that and how we're going to be running cables alongside manufacturer wiring, so it's easy for anyone to service the vehicle at a later date. Then now moving on to the actual amplification set, and this is where the power is delivered from. So what we do on the Audi R8 is actually take speaker signals, which is what's called high level input, into the actual amplifier. So as you can see here where it says speaker in, we actually take speaker signal into the amplifier, and what that does is that's taking all that dirty signal from the actual factory radio, because all factory radios, no matter what happens, every single one on the market, some are worse than others, but every single factory radio is giving out dirty signal, dirty food to speakers, causing distortion, causing phase cancellation, causing all sorts of issues that happen on cars. And that's why people like us exist, to upgrade those systems and get them sounding how they should. However, we need certain tools to be able to do that. So this product is a really, really cool bit of kit. It's very compact, it's class D amplification, so it's very, very small, which allows us to hide this amplifier completely, so you're not going to see it at all once the install's done. Like the rest of the kit, it's all going to go behind stock locations. The speaker signal input, so we're taking signals from the factory radio input into the actual Forza amplifier here. Then what we're actually going to be doing is using correction tools inside the Forza. So it has what's something called DSP. So DSP allows us to digital sound processing tools that allow RTAs, allows BitTune, allows loads of other products to actually analyze that signal, clean up that signal, and then output via the speaker output via the connections grade cabling, all directly out to the new component. So we're going to be running fresh cable to the new components, which makes a world of difference. Also, all that power is now delivered through high quality cabling, plus it's all then good signal coming out. That good signal is actually tunable, so we can customize the sound completely, which makes a world of difference as well. But overall, a really, really compact bit of kit here that's going to be completely hidden away. You're not going to see it. So this has 8 channels of amplifications built inside it. However, you might be thinking, well, we only have 3 speakers in front of me, but obviously that doubles up, so you're going to have 6 speakers. But we've got 8 channels of amplification. So why are we using a product? Are we going to have 2 spare, or are we going to be using all of them? And yes, you can use all of them. So the way we've designed it is 8 channels of amplification. So first 2 channels are running the tweeters. Then the second 2 channels are running the 3-inch mid-range. And then because the 6.5-inch drivers can handle that more power and actually will perform better as well with this more power, we're actually running these what's called bridged off the channels. So we're going 2 channels solely running the driver side 6.5-inch Mille Legend speaker. Then we've got on the other side the other 2 channels, creating a full 8 channels of amplification being used on the system. However, customer was after looking forward on the system and actually allowing for the sub potentially to be added in if he wanted to at a later date. So the reason why we're using this product is because it's called an F8.9, so a Forza 8.9. 8 channels of amplification, but 9 channels of processing power. So why do you need 9 channels of processing power when you've only got 8 channels of amplification? Because you see this little gadget here. So this RCA output allows for what's called a sub out. We can actually add a sub out signal from here, allowing it to actually tune the system completely, and we can actually add another channel of amplification via a separate amplifier or an active sub into the system, and in essence creating a 9.9. So you've got 9 channels of amplification then and 9 channels of processing power. So you can actually process using the software in here, the sub, and also it means that you don't need to add another processor later on to create your full system. Plus, obviously, with these systems, they are completely reversible. This whole system can be removed from the car and actually go back to stock at any time, which is really cool, but also you get to retain all the product. So the product gets returned back to you, and these products will last a lifetime, and these can go into literally any car in my workshop currently. I've got an Aventador in front of me, I've got a Huracan Performante in front of me, I've got a VW Passat in front of me. It can go into every single one of those cars, so it's very customizable. It looks into all different elements of future proofing, and that's exactly why we do systems that we do. So obviously today is a little bit of a run through of all of that, but there's plenty more content to come, so hopefully you enjoy the whole series on this Audi R8. So thank you very much for watching. Remember guys, we've got that massive 10K subscriber competition live on our channel as well. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon.